Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Right, welcome back to your Thursday, November 14th edition of Sports Tonight. I am Lee Smith. We got Connor Hines.
How we doing?
Good, man.
Good,
A couple
good.
times, I think my second time this week
Yeah, that's
on.
right.
So, yeah.
You're
good to be
becoming
here.
a regular,
No,
honestly.
we haven't been here.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a while.
But, we're back. There's plenty to talk about around the city right now.
For sure. I guess we'll go ahead and kick it off. Pun intended. Atlanta United has a huge matchup with Orlando City.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of weird because they have so much time to prepare for this one now, right? Because they've been on the road. It feels like they've only had, a matter of days to prepare for all these playoff matches. Now you turn around and have, a 2-week break.
2 weeks. It's weird.
Before this match. And not to mention, it's a single elimination game. The last series against Miami, it was a best of 3.
It's kind of weird that the international soccer schedule and the MLS don't line up whatsoever. So
Right.
you have basically soccer season it feels like, 10 out of the 12 months of the year?
It's insane. We were talking
so
to somebody.
5-6 of the year, it feels like it's soccer season.
I mean, we're here playing soccer in November, and the team
It's
reports
crazy.
in February. I mean, it's a long season, especially with those mid-season breaks. But hey, I think Atlanta United will take the extra time to prepare for this playoff match.
Yeah.
Just given how fast everything has developed, and the fact that they could really use some rest and recovery. And this is an Orlando team that Atlanta beat not too long ago.
Right.
So riding the hot hand here, and you have another chance to continue this just miracle run.
Well, not only did they beat Orlando in that, and then they, decision day and all the things happened. They fell their
Right. way.
Then now they come back. They beat Miami 2 out of 3. I mean, it feels like they've got a lot of momentum.
A lot of mojo.
Wow. Well, we talked to Jay Fortune today while we were out at practice, and here's what he had to say.
Better. Been putting in a lot of work the last couple weeks, and I could definitely see an improvement on it. Able to get through some sessions, was able to play the last 30 of the last game, so I think this break helped. It will continue to help to just do the treatment and get it right and be ready to go.
It was 2 different injuries, right?
It was all in the same play.
Uh-huh.
I think as it happened, I think it was Redondo went to play a pass, and he caught my foot a little bit, which turned my ankle. And then as I landed, it rolled again. So it was just 2 in the same moment.
So what percentage were you in that Miami game for those 30 minutes?
The last 30. I think as the adrenaline kicked in,
Yeah.
a couple Tylenols and whatnot. I was at a good percentage. I was happy going into the game with where I was at. I was confident in how the ankle was feeling, and I told him that if they needed me, I was ready to go. So it wasn't too bad.
How would you describe your emotions about the team being in this spot now?
I think with how the season went, I'm happy for us. Obviously, we had lots of ups and downs this season, lots of changes, and I think we deserve to have this little bit of moment of happiness. But at the end of the day, it's really important we stay focused on the goal at hand, which is to win the MLS Cup, and it starts one game at a time. So I think we're past that stage of the celebratory part of the victory against Miami. But right now we're focused on Orlando.
Did the injury keep you from getting called up?
It played a pretty decent factor. I think I wanted to be ready, and I think to go there and not be 100%, and I wasn't even sure how I would have been against Miami. So I think it played a really big factor in that.
Going back to game 2, after the injury happens, how hard was it to manage what you could do to stay on the field as long as you did?
It was an interesting 70 minutes, I'd say. I think if you watch the game back, when the ball's not around me, I'm hobbling like I'm 80 years old. But as the ball came towards my direction, I was able to put it behind me a little bit. I still wasn't, able to sprint fully, but I was able to move at a pace that I was comfortable with and just try to, give as much as I can. And luckily I was able to help see the game out, at least till the 88th minute or so. But went in at halftime, did some work on it. Didn't feel great, but it was good enough. And like I said, once that adrenaline kicks in, you're good. And the next morning was a bit of a struggle.
Do you remember the play late in that game? I think on Messi at the top of the 18. It's one of the last plays you made, I think, before you got subbed.
In the second game?
In the second game, yeah.
Not fully. You could maybe jog my memory a little bit.
It's just a big tackle at that point, and you had been hobbling a pretty good bit up to that.
Yeah, not fully, but I appreciate you.
All good. All good. How disappointing was it to not be able to start game 3 because of the injury?
It was a lot of conversations, obviously. I didn't want to. Obviously, I was happy with the decision. They thought that obviously the team comes first, so they weren't fully sure, how I was able to be. Obviously, I wasn't the happiest about it, but at the end of the day, it's not just about me. Going into it, I had 100% of faith in the team that went out onto the field. There was no question about that. But you want to play as much as you can, and the team put on a performance without me on the field. And I was just wanting to do my job and help see the game out. And I mean, that's the great part about having a team. If it's not you at the moment, it's somebody else. And I had faith in the guys that went on the field.
What did it mean to get to celebrate Game 3 with all the fans, especially as you all walked over into that cover, seeing the red and black out there?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. I think the best part about it was, obviously we were the underdogs for the game, and who doesn't love an underdog story, I guess. I think, we put in a lot of work the upcoming weeks for this game, and we knew it was going to be difficult. And when you put in a lot of work and you work really hard to achieve something, and that goal happens, it just makes it feel a lot better. And to do it in front of those 17s that came down to the game, to the people watching, made it even better.
Looking at the season, a big push has been just believing in the team. How important is it to have that mentality, as well as being able to focus on the tactics, but being able to go in with the right mentality into it?
Yeah, I think for me, belief is everything. If you don't believe you're going to win going into a game, then there's no point in playing it, because that's a big battle in itself. And I think we believed in each other. I think for the last few games, it's been like a playoffs for us, dating back to Montreal at home, the game that we lost. After that, every game was kind of like a must-win for us. So we've had that run going for a while, and we've had the mentality of a must-win kind of season to end it off. And from there, the belief starts to grow in each other. And we had a lot of belief going into these 3 games, and we were able to get the win. And what's important is we keep the belief going, and we go to Orlando with the same mindset.
What has Pedro brought to the team?
Assists. Yeah, but Pedro, he's a great player. He's somebody that doesn't get beat 1v1 very often. I enjoy playing with him. We tend to combine a little bit on the left, which is fun. And like I said, there's certain players, when they get the ball in certain areas, you kind of know what to expect. And from him, when he's in that wide area, it's a good cross, and he delivers 9 times out of 10. And when you're able to rely on a player to give you the same thing every game, it makes my job a lot easier to trust in him.
It could take time for players to adjust to MLS, but it's like he's been playing in this franchise for years. Why do you think that's happened so seamlessly for him?
I think it's credit to his quality. I think there are some players that are able to just join the league and get going right away, and I think he did that. He's a smart player. He likes to play, and I think I helped him out quite a bit on that left side. So, let me stop. But he's great, and he's just a quality player. And when that happens, it's really easy for players to just fit in properly.
I'll make sure you take all the credit.
I don't do that.
How would you? To me, I was telling Rob this yesterday. It's like a left-footed Gressel. The cross is kind of coming in with that bend and that curve that people can attack. How would you when you watch his crosses, how would you describe them?
I think a lot of times I end up seeing the cross from behind the ball, and it's like you said, it's got dip, it's got swerve, it's got some curve on it, and I'm not a striker, but I know it's a striker's dream just in terms of the fact that it's got pace on it already. So all you got to do is redirect it, and I think that's something that a lot of strikers tend to ask for. Even when I find myself in those areas, I try to attempt to do the same thing, and he's somebody that's got it on lock. So I think it's just a lot of technique that goes into it, and he's got it.
In Jamal, he's really been impactful. now that he's kind of consistently starting. What is he like off the field first?
Quiet, but when he does talk, it's always funny.
Okay.
He's a great guy, obviously. We try to get him involved in conversations and stuff like that. He just ends up laughing, which is always good, to bring smiles to the locker room and stuff like that. Works on his English and whatnot, but for the most part, I think if you really want to get a deep dive into Jamal, you probably have to talk to Tristan, Q, John Day a little bit more to get those answers.
All right.
I have one more for you. You mentioned the Montreal game, the loss at home, and how it's been kind of knockout games ever since. This team's been so good on the road in these moments. Beyond just the belief, is there anything that you can point to about why this team has been so good away from home?
One thing I probably couldn't say. I think there's been an emphasis on the concentration levels. We tend to try and concentrate a little bit more from start to finish. I think earlier on in the season we had a few moments where tie a game or lose a game just because we didn't focus to the end, and I think that's been a main focus. But also too, like we have a togetherness, which is big. And when you go on the road and you have to deal with the home fans, it's important that we focus on us and what's going on in the field and trusting each other that we're going to do what we have to do. And I think just a lot of it, there is football that's obviously involved, but also just the bond that we have as a team is really important. That plays a
All right, that was Atlanta United, Jay Fortune talking. So yeah, hopefully the break they have treats them well and they get it going in Orlando.
No doubt. One can hope.
All right, so we got a big weekend ahead for the Falcons again. It seems like every week's a big week.
Seems like we say that every week,
every
right?
week. It's just something. It's something else. Still in control of the division,
Yeah.
so that's the good news.
Bad
News is that offense against the
It's hit or
Saints
miss.
was pretty bad.
It's hit or miss, man.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss right now. And,
Well, especially the kicking game. That is miss.
yeah. Ooh, yikes.
It's not hit,
Bad
it's just
punt.
miss.
Yikes. Yeah, a lot of misses. However, Raheem Morris, talking about it yesterday, he's going to stick with Young Wei Koo. He likes his guy.
Yep.
I think a lot of people do, too. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a
yeah.
very rare bad day at the office for Young
Yep.
Wei Koo. But, look, I mean, you're not putting Koo in those situations in the first place if you can just, be a little more efficient and effective offensively. And, we've heard Kirk Cousins assume the responsibility for that many times this year. The one thing I do think that serves them well this week is I do feel like most weeks after they've kind of laid an egg, they follow
They
it up
come
with,
back, yeah.
with a really good
Yeah.
bounce back performance.
Yeah.
So that's good, and they're going to need it on the road this weekend in Mile High. One of the best environments in the NFL. Regardless of how the Broncos are doing, it's going to be a challenge because of the elevation and all.
I've never been. I would love to go.
Yeah,
never
it would be awesome.
Never been.
Be awesome.
So, Bo Nix, their quarterback. All right,
Yeah.
rookie
Yep.
from Oregon. Sean Payton said, "Hey, let's draft this guy.
Yeah.
I believe in him.
Yeah.
Let's take him. He might be a little bit of a project,
Yep.
but maybe we can do something with him. We can flip it around and turn it into a benefit instead of a con." Well, currently 10 touchdowns this year, 6 picks. Not great.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
But, exactly on par for what a rookie would have, which should be,
Right.
in this league.
Right.
Now, as a team, they're coming off 2 losses, a heartbreaker against the Chiefs. Seems like we say that every week for whoever the Chiefs' opponent is.
Somehow still undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, look, Falcons fans know the same thing. So they're coming off a loss to the Chiefs, and then before that, they got blown out at Baltimore, 41-10.
Yeah. And look, I mean, this is a Denver team that, as we've seen in years past, and shoot, this year with Atlanta after a couple losses, I mean, you're kind of, I don't want to use the word desperate, but Denver's going to be hungry, and they view this Falcons team as a team that they can beat, really. I mean, especially after last week's performance. So this is going to be a good game. This is going to be a very competitive game, and I think, The secondaries are a good story to follow. We talked about Pat Surtain yesterday on Atlanta News First, and the difficulties that he's going to present for the Falcons wide receivers. On the other side, Justin Simmons in the secondary for Atlanta. Former Bronco. So that's a
spent 8 seasons there.
Cool little matchup to watch.
Well, and then on top of that, Caden Ellis, he's got a brother that plays
That's right.
for the Broncos, Jonah Ellis.
Yep.
They're both linebackers.
Yeah, a lot of connections.
So a whole lot of family connections with the Ellises, and then, this Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain, and
yeah, it's gonna be
a lot of good defensive play, right?
No doubt, and it's gonna be don't be mistaken. This is gonna be a big challenge for the Falcons on the road, and I think they're preparing for that. So.
Yeah, and so Kirk Cousins in the offense looking to get back on track this week and score more than the 17 points from last week at New Orleans. And here was Kirk talking about the matchup.
Yeah, just had another good Wednesday walkthrough, just got to get the bad taste out of your mouth, after the Sunday's game. It sits with you, but get back to work, and we understand the work it takes to be ready for Denver this Sunday, the defense they are, the challenges they present, and then also just the importance of the game. And so, we have an edge to our preparation this week, and as you should every week. And, it's going to be a tall task on Sunday, and we're looking forward to that opportunity and that challenge. But that's about it. So take whatever questions you may have.
Giants have been around for a while. We respect and admire, and just has your attention when you face that type of defense.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I've played him in a few different places, and he does have the respect of everybody in the league. And statistically, what they've done this year speaks for itself. So, I think he gives them what they need to go play at a high level, and they've been doing that. And it's a good challenge for us.
How can you, as a player in an offense, kind of avoid a quote unquote slow start? Zach was in here earlier talking about how I felt like I didn't play call them right in that first kind of drive. What do you, as a player, kind of do to guard against that?
It's all about executing, and that takes 11 people on every play, stringing together several plays in a row. And when you do that, usually you can end up with a fast start. In the case of the game against the Saints, the second, third down of the game, we didn't execute. I missed a throw. I kind of led Drake too much. And if we, he's open, if we just stop him with the ball, he's first down and we're moving and we avoid a slow start. So it's not anything more than just go execute, do your job. And it takes all 11 doing that over and over and over. And that'll always be the focus, not just starting, but finishing and throughout the game. And that's how you, as an offense, string together not just a great game, but a great season.
You guys have had, statistically a pretty good season, record-wise and also numbers-wise on offense. But it still feels like, correct me if you disagree, it still feels like you guys haven't really put together a full, complete, four-quarter performance. And I guess there's kind of a glass half full and glass empty, kind of interpretation of that. So what are your feelings?
Yeah, I think Raheem has challenged us as an offense the last several weeks to talk about how he doesn't feel like we've played to our ceiling, I think is the word he used, or our absolute potential. So there's more to go chase. And, I agree with him. And I agree with your assessment that we've left things out there in each game. And, it's a balance of knowing you're never going to play a perfect game, so you try to give yourself some grace, but at the same time, we are sort of chasing perfection. And if you don't have a perfect game, you walk away saying we could have been better, we could have executed better. So we're still chasing that, and would love it to happen on Sunday. But we have the kind of group that you do expect big things from, and we do have high expectations as a result of the group we have.
I know after the game on Sunday you were talking about how you felt like you were a little too aggressive in certain spots. After you went back and watched it, did that kind of confirm what you were talking about, and what else did you really see that you wanted to improve on?
I felt like the interception was too aggressive. I felt like the rest of the game I actually was very patient, which was why it was disappointing, among other reasons, was that I felt, man, I had played patient all game long, taken what they gave me. And then when the interception happened, I didn't stay patient, and that frustrated me that I only had, a few more opportunities in the game and could have finished the game the way I wanted, and then got too aggressive. So it was a reminder to me to always be disciplined with your reads, take what they give you, and don't go chasing something. The big plays will present themselves. They'll be there. You don't have to go force them or go look for them.
You can have Caden reach out to his brother Jonah and try to get a little insight on what are some of his tendencies are so you can avoid them on Sunday.
I wish, but the Ellis family, it's an incredible group there. I played with Christian in Minnesota, who's now with New England, and then now play with Caden. And had family friends of mine growing up in Michigan who were good friends with Luther, their dad. And so I met Luther when he was playing for the Lions and went to a game, watched him play in person when he was playing. So it's an incredible family with Jonah, and statistically significant to have that many Ellises in the NFL. They say it's hard to make the NFL, but I think the Ellises sort of make you wonder.
What do you appreciate about Caden Ellis?
He checks every box. He's a great pass rusher. He's tough. He's the kind of person you want in a foxhole with you in tough moments, and he's very positive. Nate Landman and I joke about how positive he is. So we love that about him, and he's just a great person. He's someone who kind of gasses me up on the sideline with encouragement, when I'm about to go out there, and makes me feel like I'm the best player in the world with the way he talks to me. So he's an awesome teammate, and we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, really, really solid defense at all three levels when you look at it. Vance Joseph's been a great defensive coordinator for a long time. Shoot, I remember growing up in Colorado, remember him playing, for the University of Colorado, and obviously we faced him a bunch when he was with Arizona, when we were with the Rams. So know the challenges that his defense, schematically presents, and then you just look at the front, the way that those guys are playing. They play at a very high level across the board. There's really no weakness along the front. The second level of the defense is really solid, and then the corners and safeties are all really good. Obviously, a really good player out there that they have at corner. So in for a big challenge. Got to have a great week of preparation, understanding how to try to attack the scheme, and then understanding that it's a player's game, and it's going to be a great challenge for the guys up front and really everybody across the board.
How unique is it how they use Benito?
Yeah, no, he's a really good pass rusher. Obviously, he's got some twitch to him on the edge that we got to be aware of at all times. They move those guys around a decent amount, and we'll get to some third downs a little bit later on today. But from the normal down and distance stuff, you can tell those edge players, you got to be very aware, but you also got to be aware of the interior. So it'll be a good challenge across the board for our guys. I know they'll be ready for it.
Sertan and Benito, to kind of jump off the, little quick review, who are some of the other guys that are providing them some good work?
Yeah, those two guys certainly. Obviously, Zach Allen's a really good player on the interior. Franklin Myers is a really good player as well. So they feel like they can play, some of their structures that puts their best 11 on the field, and it's definitely they play it really well. So anticipating a good matchup between obviously our offensive line and ability to run the football as well as pass protect. So those guys will be ready to roll, and looking forward to seeing how it plays out on Sunday.
And I'm just going over your receptions and the catches for first downs. It's spread out pretty much, but London and Mooney with 36 and 33. Then Ray with 16 and Kyle with 16. Does that make you all difficult to defend on third downs? With so many people that can maybe.
Sure. Yeah. I think so. I think Kirk does a great job of spreading the ball around. Obviously, we're designing plays to go certain places. Sometimes it works out exactly like you hope. Sometimes that's why you have a great quarterback in Kirk that finds the open guy. So we're trying to just spread the field and try to use everybody's talents, the best that they can. And so obviously the trigger man is the one that makes it all go, and he's done a great job spreading around and just finding the open guy.
Having played against Vance's defense, as you said, for so many times, is there a common theme, identity with the way they roll out?
No, I think he's always aggressive. You see that pop off the tape, whether that's this year, years prior, understanding situationally and some of those things that present themselves. But they always play hard. They always have good mixers throughout the game. He does his best trying to not let you get a beat on it, and they do a great job of that. So, we've played them, I think, went out 8 different times in LA, and each game felt very different, each time. So know that they'll have their wrinkles, but they also have their staple stuff that they like to do that we'll be ready for.
Is that rare when if you were to face another team 8 times to have that many different wrinkles, or you kind of know?
Yeah, I think he just does a great job mixing it up, and understands that if you're putting things on tape over and over, that defenses are seeing that as well. So just like we're trying to do on our offensive side as well, just trying to make sure that we're not getting too many tendencies out there that defenses can get a beat.
You have this one circle on your calendar?
Definitely, yeah. No, my families, grew up in Denver. Grew up a Broncos fan. We had season tickets when I was a kid, going to the old Mile High Stadium, watching John Elway and all the Ed McCaffrey, Rod Smith, Carl Mecklenburg, all those guys. So definitely, when I saw we were going to Denver, family got excited and all that. So those have a bunch of family there, which will be fun. Always a great place to play. I mean, the atmosphere it's tough to beat. You're saying probably there, Kansas City, those are the top 2, in the NFL. So looking forward to getting back home. It's a really cool place. It'll be a lot of fun knowing that it's going to be a really good challenge versus a really good team.
Any prevailing memories, watching those games back then with Elway?
Gosh, not really. I was pretty young. I can't remember. I remember Jason Elam kicking a 63-yarder. We were at that game that set an NFL record. But just remember Ed McCaffrey, especially just making tough catches over the middle. That was when, getting hit over the middle was a little bit different than it is now. They were trying to, take.
All right, so big contest out in Denver on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now some dogs.
Oh boy.
Well, yes, last weekend's result wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what is great? Kirby in a bounce-back game.
Yeah, he's pretty good in that spot. And I think even betterly in a spot where you want to call it a de facto playoff game. I mean, this feels like you have to win it.
All right.
To feel really good about. I mean, I as an Indiana fan have spent way too much time on the ESPN playoff predictor this year, and I do know that with a loss against Tennessee, Georgia's odds of making the playoffs at all, I believe it's like 49% instead of like a 90-something. So, look, I mean, you got Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech left on the schedule.
Not a whole lot of room to go up.
You got to beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I do, agree with you. I think the way Georgia lost that game last week in the rain on the road at Ole Miss
and got pummeled on both sides of the ball. That doesn't usually happen.
No.
They might lose. They might commit a couple of turnovers and something crazy happens, and they might not have more points than the other team at the end of the game, but they don't usually get pummeled like that. So that was surprising.
It was.
But Kirby doesn't lose back-to-back. So they're coming to your place.
And certainly not losing back-to-back when you got a playoff spot on the line. So
yeah, so I don't know.
We'll see.
I'd be confident if I was a Bulldog this week.
Number 7, Tennessee. Number 12, Georgia. I want to say Georgia's like a double-digit favorite, though.
Yeah.
So we will see. Hopefully the weather's better than it was for you.
From that to this, the Rays Tropicana Field, it was announced today, will not be operational for the next season, and instead the Rays will be playing at the Yankees spring training facility.
Been there before. Not great.
That's crazy.
Not great. That is crazy.
Whole 2025 season.
Not the Rays spring training facility, but the Yankees spring training facility.
Could you imagine going to a game and you can't even sit in your own stadium?
Oh my gosh!
You got to go to which I'm sure only has a couple of thousand seats.
At most.
So good luck.
Yeah. Well, look, they don't think it's worth the investment to repair the place because they're gonna build a new stadium.
Yeah.
So.
All right, real quick. What's on your mind?
Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Jake Paul is talking trash, Lee, and I think Mike Tyson at 58 years old is gonna beat him.
All right. Well, that is all for your show tonight. See you later.